Hello everyone, my name is Jesse. This is the Auditorium, and I react to video game music as a musician myself. Today is going to be a platinum Patreon request for Lord Daddy. This is going to be a 3-in-1 video. I don't think I've ever done that before. So 3 versions of the same song. Etrian Odyssey 3, Labyrinth 1, Waterfall Woodlands from Etrian Odyssey 3, Etrian Odyssey Nexus, and the Odyssey 3 Super Arrange. So we're going to be here for a little bit, and hopefully they're all different enough. But everything I've heard from Etrian Odyssey is actually like one of my favorites on this channel. Yuzo Koshiro is a G, and I love everything they do. So let's just get right into it. Waterfall Woodlands, Etrian Odyssey 3. And I'm guessing this is the original. Very, very calm. Like walking pace. Well, that was a cool little run of notes. There's a lot going on in this song for being what I originally thought was kind of simple, but it's not. Shifting moods a lot. Mostly has this kind of darker undertone. But it's moving a lot. A little chorus section. This is one of the more sadder sounding things from Yuzo that I've heard. Like that. I like the effort that went into the percussion. There's a lot of little things going on the percussion side. The song doesn't seem to want to sit in one place for too long. I don't know how to feel about this one. This one is... There's layers here. Something I'm not getting. Alright, that's the original. Very curious what they're gonna do with this one. So sometimes this requester has sent the original and then a super arranged, but this time we're getting 3. So we actually get to kind of deep dive a little bit. This is going to be Etrian Odyssey Nexus, which I think I've done before. I don't know if this is a spin-off or anything, but apparently this song is important because it's made its return. So anyways, let's just keep going. This is number 2. This is kind of a longer video. If I find myself like it loops too much, I'll just, hear a little bit, like half of it, and then move on. But we'll see. This is Etrian Odyssey Nexus, also Waterfall Woodlands. Let's go. Already a big jump in musical production. So piano and acoustic guitar. Actually changes the sound a lot. Like, the formula is there, but it sounds like way more mystical now. Yep. That's what it needed. It's starting to sound like it's originally meant to sound like, I guess. I'm still paying attention to the drums, though. This sounds great. Very full sound. That bass is really there in the mix. Okay, so violin is the star of the show in this one. Ooh, bass. Oh, that was cool how the drums came back. Honestly, maybe the bass is kind of the star of this one. seems like the song is quite important to the series. Maybe one of the main themes. I think that was one whole loop. It's a long song. Yeah. I'll listen to like half of this one. I got what I needed to take. Bass is crazy. So much low end. It sounds a little compressed though. Like, I'm sure the in-game version, which sounds its best quality, is probably amazing. But this one I can tell it's like been compressed by the uploader. Oh yeah, that's good. And then it goes into these little solo arrangements of different instruments. I'm gonna start fading it out. God, the slider on YouTube is not very slider friendly. Okay, hold my thoughts until the end. This is the super arrange from Etrian Odyssey 3. Again, Labyrinth 1, Waterfall, Woodlands. Let's see where this one goes. I'm guessing this will be the most musical of the three, or the one that sounds the most lifelike and human. That's my guess. Dude, the bass again. You hear that? It's like solo bass. to that bass, bro. A lot of percussion, attention to detail in all three songs. A really impressive soundtrack now. As a whole, like one of Yuzo's some of my favorite work from him. Three versions of one song, and they were all their own entity, but remained with the core fundamental theme of the track. And what a track. It has a very memorable melody, it almost sounds like it's, like I said earlier, like it's kind of like an important song if it's remained, you know, throughout these sagas. But maybe I kept getting the feel of like it's just like a village or just like a stage or just like a very famous place in the game that they keep revisiting or something like that. So the first one gave me this feel of setting. The music was there, but I wasn't, I knew the next two, or at least the arranged one, was gonna be more of like the musical side. So I was just holding my thoughts on the first one because the first one was giving me more of like an ambience, and the ambience was like a village theme. And although it says Waterfall, what's it called, Woodlands, initially I was thinking of obviously very blue, lots of water, of course, maybe a creek or something. But eventually, as these songs went on, I started getting more of like a oasis and more kind of desert type of thing. But we'll get to that. It also reminded me a little bit of Fisherman's Horizon from FF8. Just that kind of, not the song, but like the kind of place where it's just this walkable area with these just odd characters and little side quests and stuff like that. I don't know. But I do, the main thing I took away from the first one was that there was a lot of mood shifting. It sounded sad sometimes, it sounded happy, it sounded kind of just ominous, kind of weird. Good, but weird. It didn't want to sit still, you know, it just kind of kept moving, and it was interesting to get a overall message from it, which was cool because I knew since I was going to hear more coming later, I was like, where is this going to go, and will there be more like grounding on it later? So the second one comes in, the Nexus version, and this is now where the real instruments start to come in and everything sounds more alive, I should say. It doesn't sound as all over the place as the first one. It doesn't sound like it keeps shifting around. It sounds more centralized and music-based. And this one has a lot more of the kind of traditional sounds we know, like pianos, acoustic guitars, violin. And this is where I started to notice the percussion a little bit more. Even though I noticed in the first one, I should have said that. And then the bass started to kind of really like, I didn't even notice the bass too much in the first one, but this second one, it was starting to really show that. Oh, I've noticed that Yuzo's stuff has a lot of bass emphasis, so it's really cool that he does that. But the main overall feeling I got from the second one was that this is very much like a performance. This is now a very human thing, you know, like there was a section where like I think every instrument had a solo section. Acoustic had a solo section, the violin. Obviously the violin was a big thing here. So it just felt more alive and I guess just more modernized. And the third one, which was kind of like an extension of the second one, but it also had its own identity. This one had vocals in it, which was interesting because now on the topic of like kind of feeling alive, it felt very like, this one kind of brought it all together where it felt like it's just a very human thing. I kept seeing like with the chanting and the hand percussion, it sounded, you know, had this contemporary style to it. It sounded like it was like kind of humans at their core type of thing. Like we have nothing, no electricity, nothing. We just, you know, it just sounded like that. It just sounded like a circle of people making music, you know, some people singing over here. And then, but the thing that really stood out to me in the third one was the bass. Quite a bit. It was kind of, it wasn't just kind of like writing anymore what the rhythm is doing. It's kind of soloing underneath, which is some of my favorite style of bass. It's just kind of doing its own thing. It has a very, overall, it has a very nature feel, I guess is what I'm saying for all three. It has a very outside, trees, water, wood type of thing. And I know some of those words are in the title itself, but that's just what I hear and see in my head. It's just very like lush. And I also kept thinking it sounded like kind of Renaissance-ish. It was kind of everywhere, really. But the first one was where it kind of shifted a bunch, and then the second two were more like music performances. But overall, the main thing I kept getting was that this is an important song, at least enough to keep returning. Maybe an iconic level or something like that. But it was very catchy. Dun, da, 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 da. It's one of those melodies where it doesn't really matter what instrument you play it on. It'll probably sound good. Not probably, it will sound good on anything. Like you can do it on a harp, piano, guitar, you can sing it. You can, you know, whatever it may be. Like it's just one of those melodies that stick out. And that's why, another reason I think it's one of the more like, I'm guessing one of the more iconic songs in Etrian Odyssey as a whole. Of course I could be wrong, but that's just what I got from all those three. That was a lot of time to process. Usually I don't get three, let alone two. So, you know, I had time to kind of get in there. And it was great. It just reminded me that we're just all humans, I guess. That's the first thing that pops in my head. Just felt very raw, very nature, very, you know, down to its core type of thing. But I'm just gonna guess that it's a village. I don't really see fighting or anything happening here. It just seems like a place with not a lot of people. Not too populated. That's the kind of thing I see in my head. But overall, I liked all the arrangements. They're really cool. I'm a really big fan of YK. Love his emphasis on rhythms. You know, the percussions are really cool in these ones and sound kind of technical. They don't sound easy to play. But the emphasis on rhythm, drums and bass, awesome. And pretty much everything he does. So, ooh, Waterfall Woodlands, Labyrinth 1. Oh, I wonder if Labyrinth 1 is like their equivalent of like Stage 1. So maybe it's like the first thing you hear? Now I'm curious. Maybe the game starts you get a cutscene and then boom, this is the first thing you hear, possibly. That is a possibility. Okay, so that is Etrian Odyssey 3, Waterfall Woodlands. Thank you, Lord Daddy, for making the request. If you want to do the same thing, you can do so on Patreon or PayPal. Either are totally fine, and those are guaranteed ways I will check out your video if you do not mind waiting. If you do not want to wait, you could do what Lord Daddy did and become a Platinum Patreon member, which expedites your request to the very top. A big thank you to Justin, Kevin, Moon Knight, DJ Singletone, Your Average Metalhead, and Mushi Mary for being a part of that. Thank you to all my other supporters. Thanks to you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. My name is Jesse. Have a good night.